Hello everybody, my name is Peter Johansen. I'm the project manager of Innovation Lab Asia.
And I'm Julian Nielsen, lead consultant and Japanese innovation ecosystem expert from TechBBQ.
Welcome to this webinar on the Japanese startup ecosystem. And so the first question should really be, why even consider Japan?
Yes, that's a great question. So from an investor point of view, the Japanese connection is probably the hottest lead right now in Asia. Japanese VCs and investors have been targeting the Nordics for quite some years now, and in fact, in just the last 2-3 years, there's been an exponential rise in Japanese investments into Nordic startups. And it's not just to look for portfolio companies, it's also to engage as LPs.
And if you're a startup considering international expansion outside Europe, East Asia is definitely an area you should consider, and especially Japan. Why? Well, first of all, because the Nordic brand value in Japan is very strong. First of all, there is a strong similarity in design tastes between Japanese and the Nordics. There's also an understanding and appreciation of Nordic quality in Japan. Secondly, the Nordics face some of the same societal issues as they do in Japan, and therefore, by extension, many of the solutions that Nordic startups provide have a very good market fit to Japan.
But before we dig deeper, let us just briefly introduce Innovation Lab Asia and what we do. So Innovation Lab Asia is a project collaboration between TechBBQ and Asia House that seeks to connect the Nordic and Asian startup ecosystem. We started out looking at the entire Asian region. Now we've zoomed into Japan, connecting not just with key stakeholders across Japan, but also with people and organizations across the Nordics who share our interest in Japan. In Denmark, our main partner is Copenhagen Capacity. Innovation Lab Asia is funded by the Danish Industry Foundation.
So what do we do exactly? Our main focus right now is to attract Japanese investors to the Nordics. Why? Because Japanese investments to the Nordics are booming. Last year at Slush, we presented this report where we tracked down all Japanese funding activities into the Nordic startup ecosystem. Here's the graph. It shows an exponential growth from 1 investment in 2013 to 20 investments in 2019. And here are the investments per country. What can we say? Well done, Finland and Estonia. Some of you may think, well, with this COVID crisis, it's game over. But so far, for the first 8 months of 2020, we've identified 14 Japanese investor-related activities to the Nordics. Again, Estonia and Finland are leaders of the pack.
In February, we organized a small investor delegation to Japan and staged a roadshow through 5 cities, where we presented the Nordic innovation ecosystem. On the trip, we also presented this report on the Nordic ecosystem, written in Japanese and curated for a Japanese audience. We also brought along some of our other reports as well. You can check them out on our website, and we of course also still have few copies left, should you be interested in having a look at them.
Of course, things have gotten a bit more complicated with this whole COVID situation. During our trip to Japan, we introduced a number of activities we wanted to engage with Japanese investors on. We wanted to meet at Latitude 59, Startup Extreme and TechBBQ for a series of events. Of course, that's not possible anymore. This whole year 2020 is indeed a very weird year. So while we're waiting for this pandemic to blow away, we have initiated a number of other activities. We have continued to expand our promotion of the Nordic ecosystem in Japanese language. And doing so, we have launched our newsletter on the Nordic innovation ecosystem in Japanese language for the first time ever. And we also have an English version, and you're very welcome to sign up on our website.
So that was a little bit about what Innovation Lab Asia is and what we do. But for today's program, we have invited 3 of the leading accelerator programs from the Japanese innovation ecosystem. We have Startup Bootcamp Scale Osaka and Access to Tokyo by Tokyo Metropolitan Government and Accenture. And then lastly, we have Plug and Play Japan. So all of these support programs and accelerators have shown interest that they want more Nordic startups to participate in the programs.
But first, we have a presentation by Niklas Kavanen from the newly opened Nordic Innovation House in Tokyo. He'll be presenting the Japanese innovation ecosystem from his point of view, and also introducing some of the activities that he's been initiating from Tokyo.
Hello, everyone. Greetings from Tokyo. Thank you so much for following our program. My name is Niklas Karvonen. I am the Community Director for Nordic Innovation House here in Tokyo. And in my presentation, I'll say a few words about us and also share some of the recent innovation headlines from Japan. So let's get to it. Nordic Innovation House Tokyo is a truly pan-Nordic collaboration project between the countries of Finland, Sweden, Norway, Iceland, and Denmark. Besides Tokyo, we're also present in Silicon Valley, where we started, New York, Singapore, and Hong Kong. And we all share the same mission to scale the best of the Nordics. So we work together with Nordic startups, scale-ups, and growth companies within the tech and innovation fields who are interested in expanding or exploring these global HubSpots. We are funded by Nordic Innovation, which is headquartered in Oslo. But why Japan? Why did we choose Japan as the fifth location? Here are some highlights from the Japanese startup ecosystem. As you can see from the graph, investments into startups in Japan have been steadily growing since 2012. This is actually from our friends in Innovation Lab Asia. Even though the total investment sizes are still rather small compared to, for example, the United States, we can see that there is a rising positive trend towards investments. Some of the major cities that you might be aware of: Tokyo, of course. We're looking into Olympics and Paralympics 2021. Osaka, which has been selected as the World Expo City for 2025. A lot of interesting opportunities will surely arise from that. And Fukuoka, which is in the southern part of Japan, has been a front runner in attracting global startups and global talent into Japan for many years. Some rising locations include Kyoto, Kobe, Chubu, and also other regional areas not mentioned here. Now, what are some of the areas that large Japanese corporations are looking for open innovations and startups to collaborate with? These include especially deep tech fields such as batteries, VR, AR, mobility, wearables, clean tech and energy solutions, industrial robots, as well as we also see interest in digital health and smart cities. This is from Innovation Leaders Summit report, which is the largest open innovation event in Japan. We're also very happy to see that investments from Japan to the Nordic startups have been steadily increasing and accelerating in the last couple of years. And we also have new VCs which are focusing only on investment collaboration between these regions. And some of the recent news, we're really happy that for the first time, Tokyo is part of Startup Genome's Global Startup Ecosystem Report and already ranked as 15th with special mentions in advanced manufacturing, robotics, and fintech. So these are some of the fields that have been identified as particularly interesting in Tokyo. Also, the government is focusing on startup ecosystem. Just this year, they have announced 4 global startup cities agenda. So for the 4 urban areas, there will be eased regulations and subsidies to help to build and foster these startup ecosystems. Briefly mentioned already, ILS, the largest open innovation event in Japan, will happen fully digital in March next year, which means that it's even easier for the Nordic companies or companies from around the world to participate in this event to do matchmaking with Japanese corporations who are actively looking for open innovation. And we're also happy to see that the startup visa program is expanding into different cities in Japan, meaning that there are more flexible ways to test the waters and become an entrepreneur here in Japan. So you don't have to apply for the business manager visa. Lastly, I wanted to highlight a couple of recent Nordic tech companies entering Japan. We have Volt, which is a Finnish food delivery company, interestingly started from Hiroshima, not from Tokyo. Nightingale Health, another Finnish company in the preventive health tech field. Cognite, a Norwegian company. And also, I wanted to put one unicorn here as well, Spotify, which is, of course, the Swedish music streaming company, has been in Japan since 2016. With that, I would like to conclude my presentation. Here are my contact details. Feel free to be in touch. If you're interested in the Japanese innovation landscape, give us a follow. We'll send a regular newsletter so you can keep updated what's going on here in Japan. But with that, I would like to conclude. Thank you so much for letting me be part of TechBBQ and this program.
Thanks a lot, Nicholas, for your presentation. It's really great that there now finally is a Nordic innovation house in Tokyo. In my opinion, there's no doubt that it's going to be the ideal access point for Nordic startups wanting to access Japan, and a great driver for introducing Nordic tech solutions to the Japanese market.
So, on that note, we will go to the next speaker on the program, which is Adam Clayton-Platt from Rainmaking Innovation Japan, who will present their accelerator program, Startup Bootcamp Scale Osaka.
Okay, so hi everybody. First of all, thank you so much to the TechBBQ and Innovation Lab Asia team for inviting us to be here today. We do feel incredibly privileged to be presenting to you among such great company. My name is Adam Clayton-Platt. I am the COO here at Rainmaking Innovation Japan, and we run the Startup Bootcamp Scale Osaka program. Now, you may have already heard of Startup Bootcamp, and you may or may not know that we run earlier stage accelerators around the globe. But our scale programs are focused on later stage startups who are ready to scale internationally. So in a nutshell, Startup Bootcamp Scale Osaka offers accelerated market entry into Japan by helping startups from around the world collaborate with our consortium of large Japanese corporations. Now, our 3-month program, which is, of course, remote due to COVID-19 this year, but hopefully not next year, enables scale-ups to run POCs or pilots with our corporate partners, validate your product or service in Japan, shape your market entry strategy, learn the most effective ways to conduct sales and business development in Japan, and to connect you with the right network of potential partners, customers, and investors to accelerate your traction post-program. Now, our secret sauce is our business development focus. We're not just matchmaking. We are a team of bilingual business professionals focused on the facilitation and management of a successful POC so that it becomes your Japan case study and demonstrates your traction and your reputation in Japan, which is incredibly important here. Our business development focus extends through every aspect of our program. Through lectures and workshops about doing business in Japan, we help facilitate the creation of your POC plan. We stay involved in the project management through to implementation. We sit in between every communication to maximize your POC success. And we conduct multiple events to connect you with our mentor and investor network. So you can leverage your success through our program to gain new customers, partners, and investment via their networks. So one of the reasons we particularly love Nordic companies is because we ourselves have Nordic roots. We were originally founded in Copenhagen in 2007, where some of our founding partners are still based actually. So the Nordic model is strongly in our DNA, as is entrepreneurship. Our team have founded startups, worked in them, supported them, invested in them, and even brought them to Japan. Now, why Osaka? So apart from being named the world's 4th most livable city in 2019 by The Economist, we chose Osaka because the region is a common test market for companies to gauge the viability of national expansion. So the region has a population of more than 20 million, which is about 17% of the national population. It has a wide spectrum of industries, which means potential corporate customers. Before COVID, it had the biggest tourism boom in their history. And it also has many upcoming projects like the World Expo in 2025, which has a smart society focus. So Osaka is in a unique position to showcase itself as a smart cities leader to a global audience by 2025. And this is one of the main reasons our program theme is smart cities and living. So our partners, as you can see on this slide, are all large corporations. Many of them are conglomerates, and all of them are household names in Japan. And our verticals are based on our partners' specific departments that are willing to collaborate on POCs. So just to give you an idea of our results from last year's cycle, we had 14 POCs, 7 of them were paid, and despite COVID causing us to cancel our live demo day, we had 2 Japanese subsidiaries formed and ongoing commercial discussions for a number of the startups. Isotana is a great example with 2 POCs and an IPO mid-program. This is testament to the range of companies that our partners are willing to collaborate with. So we accept from seed stage companies with single digits of employees all the way through to pre-IPO companies. Mapsys is another great example with 2 POCs through the program and then established a subsidiary in Japan afterwards. Travello conducted a market survey of thousands of readers of the Yomiuri Shimbun, validating their business model here, and now are finalizing localization for the Japan market. And another good example, SoundPays completed 2 technology POCs and are now planning larger commercial POCs. So I hope this gives you a brief and broad overview of the opportunity that our program provides to validate your tech with some of the largest corporations in Osaka, to shape your Japan market entry strategy, and to build the network to make it happen. So we do urge you to jump online to learn more about our partners, our verticals, and our program specifics. And you can also actually sign up to follow our program's second cycle, which starts this November, and get notified when applications open for next year's program in May. So thank you again for listening. Thanks again to the TechBBQ and the Innovation Lab Asia team for putting this amazing event together. And we hope you enjoy the rest of the programming today.
Thank you so much, Adam. It's really interesting to hear that they actually have roots going back to the Nordics, actually here in Copenhagen. So we actually had the pleasure of meeting Adam and his team in Osaka earlier this year in February. And I must say, it is truly a wonderful city. The city is a little bit more rough around the edges compared to Tokyo, which I really, really like. And then they have the best food in the country.
So talking of going, if you want to engage with large Japanese corporations making POCs on smart cities and living applications, then Osaka Bootcamp is the place to go. They start up the program early next year.
So next up we have Maria from Accenture. She will be tuning in from London, and she'll be presenting the Access to Tokyo program by Tokyo Metropolitan Government.
Hi everyone, thank you Innovation Lab Asia for the invitation to come speak today. My name is Maria and I'm representing the Access to Tokyo program run by the Tokyo Metropolitan Government in partnership with Accenture. My job is to connect the European ecosystem with business opportunities in Japan. And today I will be talking about why you should think about exploring business opportunities in Tokyo. I'll start with a short overview of the city's business landscape. So with a population of 37.4 million people, Tokyo is a world-leading megalopolis at the forefront of the world's economy, with a highly advanced society and a well-educated population. And in terms of its relationship with the Nordics, Japan is Denmark's second largest export market in Asia. But the country is also facing some challenges. Its decreasing and aging population is a huge problem. So currently it takes 2 productive citizens to support every 1 senior citizen. And technology has therefore become more important than ever to increase productivity and quality of life. And the demand for emerging technologies to do so has increased immensely, especially ahead of the Tokyo Olympic Games in 2021. So considering Japan's long tradition for sophisticated technologies, its strong universities and research institutions, and a high-skilled talent, the Japanese startup scene will continue to evolve in a positive direction. The Japanese government has developed national-level strategies to develop innovation clusters of fintech, AI, and robotics. And in Tokyo particularly, the local government has set up a global financial city vision in 2017, with the aim of making Tokyo an unrivaled global financial center. And since then, the local government has been working to create the right environment, such as relaxing regulations, to welcome entrepreneurs from across the world. However, the Japanese innovation ecosystem is still relatively weak compared to cities like London, Berlin, or Singapore, but it is improving. Culturally, Japanese society is often considered quite risk-averse, and so with most people choosing to work in large corporations due to the high levels of security and stability. So therefore, because there are already relatively few startups locally, there is a growing interest amongst Japanese investors and corporations in engaging with startups. This is translating into a large corporate VC investments, joint ventures, and a bunch of strategic partnerships with startups to bring innovation to boost their businesses. So the Access to Tokyo program. So as emerging technology markets grow, the government is also providing new market entrants with a major boost through various promotional programs. The Tokyo government has partnered with Accenture to bring the best of European tech to Japan through its Access to Tokyo initiative. So this includes the free consulting services that give startups international expansion support, setting up a subsidiary or a joint venture in Tokyo. The main advantage of this program is its business partner matching. It connects startups to large banks and corporations so they can work together and collaborate and even potentially receive investment. And the second initiative is the Tokyo Financial Award. It awards companies that are promoting unique ESG investments, so that's economic, societal, and governmental, as well as sustainable development goals initiatives. And it offers the winners unique networking and PR opportunities to really set their footprint in Tokyo. Applications for this award will close on the 16th of October. The Tokyo government is looking to help Series B and above startups and scale-ups working with emerging technologies in sectors like health tech, fintech, and smart cities. If your company fits the description on the slide and you are looking to expand to Tokyo, please do reach out to me. But also, why are we looking to engage with Nordic startups especially? The Nordic products carry a strong brand value in Japan. There is a high demand for premium products, and design preferences are very aligned between the two cultures. Japan will remain a key market for Nordics in years to come. For example, the Economic Partnership Agreement is expected to boost trade between Denmark and Japan by 30 to 50%. And finally, the Japanese megatrends may give Nordic startups a certain advantage. With a rapidly aging population, Japanese demand for welfare technology is increasing dramatically, and providing new opportunities for startups within health tech, life sciences, and AI, where the Nordics have an obvious, very strong value proposition. And finally, let's look at some success stories. So since 2017, TMG has been able to attract more than 400 companies internationally, and founders have benefited from meeting with leading Japanese companies like Fujitsu, Nomura, Toyota, as well as gaining exposure to international and local VCs. In the Nordics, technology businesses like the Swedish health tech company Atos, Vertisize in the retail industry, and the Norwegian Rec Solar in the green tech space have all benefited from the government's support when setting up offices in Tokyo and exploring business opportunities in the city. For example, in 2019, the Danish blockchain startup Chainalysis closed its 36 million Series B round with a strategic investment from Japan's largest financial institution, MUFG, as well as Sozo Ventures, the global expansion venture capital firm based in Tokyo. In all of this, with the support of the Tokyo Metropolitan Government. So perhaps you will be the next company. Thank you so much for listening, and please do not hesitate reaching out if you are looking to explore business opportunities in Tokyo. My contact details are on the screen. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Maria, for the thorough insights into Tokyo's ecosystem and for outlining the technological solutions the city is looking for to tackle its societal challenges. So Access to Tokyo provides free consultancy services and matchmaking with Japanese partners, and they also have 2 financial awards. These financial awards target Series B or above startups, and the application deadline closes the 16th of October.
So, next in line is Peter Antoniev from Plug and Play. Stay tuned here.
Hello everyone, it's a pleasure to be speaking to you. My name is Peter Antoniou and I am the program manager of the brand and retail program here at Plug and Play Japan in our Tokyo office. First, a few quick words about myself. So even though I am based in the Tokyo office and have been so for the last year and a half, actually I'm from Sweden. So I would be more than interested in helping fellow Scandinavians to get a foot into the Japanese market. So first, let me just go through real quick about Plug and Play and what we do, and then maybe get into a bit more into detail what we could potentially do for any of you guys trying to enter this market. So first, just real quick about Plug and Play in general. We do 2 accelerator programs per year, per vertical. Each program is 3 months long, and so it would mean that if you were to apply and be selected for this program, we would have 3 months where we would be in close contact with one another, and we would ask you to participate in our different events. On top of that, we also deal with corporate innovation. We have all over the world 400 large corporations that we support with their innovation, meaning that we introduce startups to them in different industries to basically help them with with exploring new ideas and new concepts in areas that they're interested in developing within. On top of that, we also invest in some of our startups that have been selected to our program. So in total, we have invested in more than 250 startups at this point. So just a little bit about Plug and Play Japan in particular. So we have 3 different offices here in Japan. We have the Tokyo office, where we serve IoT, FinTech, InsurTech, mobility, and brand and retail, those 5 verticals. Then in Kyoto, we have hardtech and health, and in Osaka, which just started, they're focused now on smart cities. And in Japan, we have 43 different corporate partners. You can see them listed there. Yeah, even though it's a bit of a, maybe the characters are a bit small here, but I think you can recognize some of the logos. So that's kind of the Plug and Play Japan in a nutshell. What do we do in our acceleration program? You can see here we have all 3 areas, all 3 business pillars covered, but I want to focus just a little bit on the startup side. So, of course, we deal with introducing startups to corporate partners. We do one-on-one meetings. We do matchmaking. On top of that, we also have educational content where we invite alumni startups to talk about their trials and errors and how they succeeded within this market. We also have TOSBEC and JETRO, which are government-related organizations that will come to our office or via Zoom now that we're dealing with COVID, and help us basically explain to all the startups what the proper procedure is to set up a company if you're interested in doing so, setting up a company here in Japan, and what kind of visas you can get, how much it costs, etc. They break all that down for you. So during the 3-month program, you get that type of support, as well as, of course, we help you to expand your business development pipeline. Just real quick, we have 3 startups here that have been very successful in the program. The first one here, Econo, for example, that's a Swedish company. They deal with edge machine learning, as is written here. They have been very popular within the InsurTech industry, actually. Although unfortunately, I cannot really go into details because of NDAs, but they're seeing a lot of traction here based on that particular industry. We have Safe, a face recognition solution where it's used, for example, not only in banking transactions, but also it's used to, if you want to enter a specific facility, you will have a face reader, where now, again, due to COVID, they have actually developed it further. So it does not only check your face, but it checks the temperature of your body to see if you can actually enter the building or not. Lastly, we have REM Analytics, which is a company that deals with microbiome and figuring out the origin of a specific product. So you can, for example, check whether or not the contents of the product are actually from the spot where it says they're from, meaning that if you're a food manufacturer, it's good you can see where all the ingredients are coming from, if it actually matches with what you have been supplied with. So it's very popular amongst our food and beverage corporations. So with that in mind, lastly, I'd just like to point out that although we actually closed the application for our next batch just a few days ago, actually the next application should open, the application for our, that will be April program, will open in January. So if you just wait a few months, you will be able to apply for our next program. I really hope to see more Scandinavian companies within our ecosystem. And so I really, really hope to see more of you guys in our next batch. Okay, so thank you so much for listening to me. Feel free to contact me on LinkedIn if you want to know more about Plug and Play Japan. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Peter. It's good to know that we have a fellow Scandinavian sitting in Plug and Play Tokyo. And for those of you who have heard about Plug and Play before, it's perhaps not surprising because they do have accelerators across the world.
So, just to sum up, Plug and Play Japan has 2 accelerator programs per year per vertical. They have offices in Tokyo, Osaka, and Kyoto. 400 startups have been accelerated through the program since 2017, including many foreign ones. And their next cohort starts in April next year, with applications opening in January.
This was it from our side. We hope that you've all gained a better understanding of the Japanese innovation ecosystem. Just a few concluding remarks. On the investor side, Japanese investors and VCs are on the lookout for good opportunities across the world right now. They're looking for societies that are politically stable, that are technically advanced and face some of the same challenges as they do in Japan. And I'd argue that no other place in the world fits the bill as well as the Nordics. And this also seems to be the conclusion from Japanese investors, at least if we look to the stats and the numbers.
So on top of this, you can add the advantage of Nordic startups having a very strong brand recognition in Japan, so there should be a good chance of getting success there. So no wonder that the accelerator programs in Japan are eager to get Nordic startups into their programs.
So on a final note, we at Innovation Lab Asia are always on the lookout for Nordic organizations and individuals who want to work with the Japanese innovation ecosystem. Please reach out to us, be you investors or startups or institutions or individuals, and perhaps we can help you with information and data, or even set you up with the right people in Japan.
So to learn more, go to our website, innovationlabasia.dk, sign up for our newsletter, check out our reports, and follow us on our LinkedIn and Facebook.
My name is Peter Johansen from Asia House.
And I'm Julian Nielsen from TechBBQ. Thank you so much for joining our event today, and I hope you enjoy the rest of the day at TechBBQ Digital. And we will see you again at the TechBBQ physical event in spring next year.